A special thank you to Glenn Kramer, Mark Ware, Byron Colley, Steve Dix, Bill Schreiber, Christopher Hunt, Felix Rodriguez, James Rogers, Norman Fair, Daniel Mayer, Kyle Sarpolis, Leland Lampkins, Lonnie Meisner, Michael Douglas, Paul Wood, Michael Scott, Samuel Draney, and Tom Champion.
Okay, here it is, Monday. We're at the studio, and I am doing a test burn for a section of slot car track because I want to see what happens. Normally we use a router, and the router, we would cut the slots in the track with a router, which I don't have a router to do that with. It's a lot of trouble, a lot of mess. But I thought, what if I can make sections of slot car track in MDF? This is base wood. This is just a test. I can cut 3/4 inch with this, which is the depth I need. And you don't cut all the way through, so that once you attach the sections, then you, with a knife, you can cut through to the next to the slot, so they connect after you attach them. There's going to be, as you can see, a tab forward on this end and recessed on this end, so that they can stack into each other and line up. And what it's carving right now is the slot. And what I plan to do is use copper tape, which would work very well, instead of expensive stainless steel braid. And hopefully this will all work out. I think I'm a bit too far down, but maybe not on this piece of wood. And so this would be I think a 22-inch section of straightaway. And the nice thing about the wood is that if I'm putting my track together, and that's what I'm going to do, I'm building myself a wooden track at home. It's what I've been wanting for a long time. Then I can cut this up the way I want. Tabs or no tabs, I'll still make it made up. Also, I'll be able to make corners that where both lanes pull towards the inside of the lane. When we race cars, we don't go around the corner on the outside, we go on the inside, so we're going to narrow it down, and that'll be pretty cool because if the guy's ahead of you, you're not going to get past them until you go back to the wide section again. Now what it's doing now is cutting the, we'll be by it here in a minute. There's that tab. So I did just make it. So my sections of wood are this big. Now you can see how wide it is, and the reason I want it that wide is normally we would put borders on it with a plastic track, but this, I don't need to do that with this. I can have this nice wide border like this, which is what you want, and then the track gets blended the same level with the rest of the wood, so it's all in one level, like an actual asphalt track. So far, so good. I think pretty well. It's cutting everything out. I can't really tell for sure if it's cutting all the way through, but I've cut this all the way through recently, and I believe it is. I'm at 60% power. Now it's going to come down here. And it's going to cut the other tab. So if I did two of these, they fit into each other perfectly. And it's going to cut across. See, there's the tab. And you see how between the track and the end, this is not cut through. Well, that's so the two pieces, this piece, and this piece don't separate until I join them. And then I just cut this little section right there. This cutting is pretty fast. I'm hoping it cuts the 1/4 inch as quickly. I think with a higher power setting it will. But what I'm seeing right now, I am so pleased with. It just occurred to me. I said, you know, I've been wanting to build a wooden track, routed track forever, since I was a kid. And, you know, it's a big pain in the butt. So I thought, gee, I wonder if I can do it this way. Well, apparently I can. It didn't take me long this morning to go into Photoshop, make a graphic, and then have light burn trace it. It did a perfect job of tracing it. I mean, it's just, this technology just makes everything so easy. And it's still your design, which is what I love about it. So you're getting to see this whole burn happen on camera. It's burning a lot faster than I thought it would. The preview said 7 minutes, or 7.5 minutes, and I doubt that it's been that long. Now it's going to come across this way. There it goes. It's carving the other tab. Then I'm going to weight this down so it doesn't move. It hasn't cut all the way through. We'll do a second pass. And that, believe me, on that pass, it will cut through. But I think it did. Here we go. It's going to finish. And that's it. And there we have the track section. Okay, all cut. And as you can see, it's really released well. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're good. That was a 60%. It stuck a little bit in a couple of places, so I did a second pass at 40%. Just didn't move this, and that did it. So I know next time with this particular material, which I won't be using, I'll be using MDF. I cut through this at probably 80% will do it. So let's take this apart. Now here I thought that I had shot video of myself making this piece of track you saw me cut on the laser cutter. And as it turned out, I didn't. And I'm noticing that you can see right there how the tab is breaking, and that's exactly what I want this to do. Because you're gonna need to cut through these tabs. Once you put a section of track down and you put another section to this, glued to your track, you're then going to glue another section on, another section on, another section on, and then you start putting the curves on. You complete your track, and then you put down the tape, the copper tape, which I did not rub down strongly enough, but it does stay down very well. This is just a test piece of track, and I just, now you get to see the inside of the Maserati, because I've been working on this Maserati. I keep forgetting that I haven't screwed down the body to the framework that I did. This is another scratch built I did a while ago. You can see how well this track works. I mean, it's so smooth and so nice. And I put power up to it. It works just perfectly, and this is all laser cut. And so what I'm going to do, and what I found is that MDF is very difficult to cut through, depending on the grade, depending on how much glue it has, and all that stuff. It's very dense material. So what I'm going to do, and what I found out, is that medium light 1/4 inch plywood I could cut through like butter. So pine in particular. So we're going to be making these track sections out of pine. But I wanted to show you the end result of what I did on the laser cutter. That was that piece you saw cut, and I put some foam board underneath it to represent what it'll be like when it's made out of 1/4 inch stock. I wanted to check the depth to make sure that the slot guides were clearing, and it's just perfect. I'm so happy with it. So very soon I'm going to make a oval kit that'll be 8x4 available to the public. It will come with guardrails that are laser cut. It will also include some other little surprises in the kit, and you can build yourself an oval track. And then later on I'll do a road course and make separate pieces available if all goes well. So that's how it turned out. I'm very happy with it. So, what do you think I'm doing here? This is going to be a shadow box that I'm working on, and this is a creature. Some of you will know what it is. Eventually you will. I'm not going to give it away right now. And I'm engraving the wood first with the laser cutter, so it has the feeling of scales, because basically in a shadow box, everything's sort of a silhouette and backlit. And this particular image lends itself real well to that. But if it's seen during the day, I wanted to have some relief. So I thought, geez, let's pull a high contrast on it, then do a trace contour, then produce that as a separate file, and then do a trace file to the outline of the beast. And then cut it out, and then paint it with washes. Where it's clear here is all dark because it's a very dark image. It's at night, and so there's lots of shadows in there. But this way it'll have a little relief to it and not just be a flat cutout. And so far it's working. You can see how well it's engraving the scales and the feeling of the scales on this big lizard. And in a second, I will have it cut out. Okay, so now we're cutting out, now it's engraved, the actual piece, and you can probably tell what it is by now. You will later. I made some mistakes, but this is a test. I wanted to see how this would work. It didn't take that long to do that much detail. You can see now the real shape of things. The clear areas are the shadows. And I don't think I'm cutting all the way through the wood, so I'm going to probably have to do another pass. Okay, it's all done here. I'm going to turn off the air assist. Whew, get tired of hearing that noise. Let's see what we got here. Wow. Recognize it now? You will after it's painted and backlit. It's so cool. My first try. Okay, another test. I cut out the lighthouse. It just finished. And, oh wow. Oh wow. Look at that. That's incredible. And of course, you can see right through the wire work, which is what I'm hoping for, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some diffusion behind that, and there's going to be a light back there blinking off and on. But I am so impressed with this. I almost burned all the way through with the etching, but that's okay. I mean, I even got some of the railing passed through. God, that's so cool. So that's my first try, and that's just crazy. This machine is just wonderful. I can't thank you guys, everyone who helped contribute to this, and Mark Ware and all of you. I mean, good God, this thing is just incredible. It's going to totally save the studio, I think. Okay, so now I'm doing the final pieces of this first shadow box. The next one's going to be War of the Worlds, I think. There's going to be some 2001 shadow boxes too, with the lighted up space station, the Earth behind it, and the Orion coming out. But I'm trying to wet my whistle with this whole process, and it's you can see the stars right there. I only did a few. I've decided not to have the lighthouse blink, and I have a good reason for that, and that's because I really think that shadow boxes, art that's lit up that has blinking lights is kind of tacky. And these are supposed to be still moments, but they're also lit. So the lighthouse light will be on the way it is in the actual frame grab. I'm pretty close to it. This is just about ready to finish cutting out this section. Having it go nice and slow, so I know it cuts all the way through. About 90% power and a speed of 400. It's really miniature stone, just burning through. There we go. Now hopefully the stars are burned out so I can, oh yeah, they are. Good. Very cool. So now I'm cutting out the rocks that everything sits on, and you can see there's a slight charcoaling effect there, and that's what happens when you forget to turn on the air assist. And a lot of people pass on the air assist when they're buying a laser cutter, and this is why you don't want to do that. This won't bother me for what I'm doing, but if you're making kits up for people or any kind of product at all, you want your laser cutting to be burn free on the back and on the front, which is why we have this, because this allows aeration so that we can not have the burnout black streaks that you see so often in kits. Now from this point on, I had the air assist on. You can see the difference. And this is cut all the way through perfectly. But even on the back, there's no burning, and I was at 90% power. And that's because of this. These are $200, this big bed, and are well worth it because you get really clean parts, and I think customers will appreciate that. So here's all the pieces that we need to make this happen. And it's the first time I did it. You know, we got the background here, which isn't quite long enough because I was short on wood. I'm going to have to put an order in for more wood, but I can add something to the bottom of it or move this up and add something to the bottom of that. So basically, what we got going here is, I'm not sure why I did that the way I did it, but that has to go like that. And this will sit down on top of it. About like that. Sort of like that. And then our guy will be on the rocks. This is not how I drew it. I wonder if I got it backwards somehow. But you get the idea. Nice thing is I can flip it over. Push this down to this end. Let's see if that makes a difference. It might work better. I was very careful how I did this, and it does work better. I think that's really what I had planned out. So, and this will fit inside this shadow box, and of course these will be forward, this will be back, this will be forward. These stars will be lit up by strip lighting behind inside here, and there'll be some diffusion on this, so they'll have a nice glow to them. And I didn't put a star down there. Ocean comes up to about here. So, and I'm going to airbrush and hand paint all this stuff, and then we're going to put it all together and put some lights in it and see how it looks. Okay, there we go. This is the first one, keep in mind, but I wanted to show you what it looks like in a dark room. I mean, that is just so cool. I mean, not bad at all for the first one. The water looks nice and shiny. The glow is just right. The camera is overexposing it. It's actually much darker to my eye. And we got some reflections back there. But you can see, I think that turned out really well. For my first laser cutting project, it actually looks 3D. There's relief there you can see between the rocks in the front and the rocks in the back. And if it were to be seen in the daytime, the lights on, or even with the lights off, you get an impression of coolness. I'm going to turn the overhead lights on, and there we are. And that's just with, office lighting. Let's see, let's get some real office lighting going on here. So, yeah, it turned out very well. One more time, let's turn the lights off. You can see how it looks with office lighting. Oh, I gotta flag that off because that thing's just awful. So, oh, it's not on. How come it's not on? Oh, there we go. And that's with it lit up without, without being in the night. Oh boy. Oh boy. I love it. I'm a Ray Harryhausen fan. I love all his movies. Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was one of the first ones I ever saw, and I just loved it. There are adjustments to be made. I need to put more spikes on his tail because that tail was added because the picture didn't show all of it. And a few other little minor details. You can see the stars lit up there. Just a few, just enough. And I'm very pleased. So, I hope you enjoyed this week's update and yeah, all the cool stuff we did. Tomorrow we're having another rocket launch, and I'll post a video later. Also, we got Slot Car Fun coming up this weekend, where I'm working further on the Maserati. It's really coming along quite well. And if I get a higher like that, that's better. And thank you for all your support. And thank you for the orders. My goodness. I really appreciate that. That really came as a surprise. Thank you, Glenn Kramer, so much for all your support. Mark Ware for your support. Keep those orders coming in. Things are looking up. We got a lot of new projects coming up because of your help with the laser cutter. I'm going to be able to do some amazing things. And this is only the first real week that I worked with it, and I did everything from slot car track tests to the first shadow box, and all that was hand painted, by the way, too. So, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, as Joaquin says in our rocket videos. Bless you, Joaquin. And also, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link there. That's where our store is. That's where you can buy things like this when they become available. We got masks and other things on there now, and Rocket Kits. Go over there, take a look. And if you feel so inclined, buy Mary and me a coffee. We'll see you next week.